Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to WGSP, William Gillette State Park Radio, and the East Haddam Stage Company's production of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes short story, A Scandal in Bohemia. You are now part of a 1945 studio audience. Give yourselves a round of applause. And now I'd like to introduce you to our fabulous actors. Deborah Mott as Irene Adler. Keith Cummings as Dr. Watson. David Roccio as Sherlock Holmes. And I am Corey Weldon, your announcer, purveyor of sound effects, as well as His Royal Highness King Wilhelm.
Watson, come in, my dear fellow.
Good evening, Holmes.
Wedlock suits you well, Watson. You've put on 8 1/2 pounds since I last saw you.
A mere 8, I think.
Indeed. I should think your scales need a calibration. And in practice again, I see. This evening's patient was down by the riverside, I note.
How in blazes can you deduce that?
Elementary, my dear chap. It is simplicity itself. If a gentleman walks into my room smelling of iodoform, with a black mark of nitrate of silver on his right forefinger, and a bulge on the left side of his jacket pocket to show where he has secreted away his stethoscope, I should be quite dull indeed if I did not pronounce him to be an active member of the medical profession.
Bravo, Holmes.
Come in. Good evening, sir.
You received my note?
Yes, indeed. Come in, won't you, and sit down. This is my friend and colleague, Dr. Watson. You may say anything before him that you can say to me. Now, who do I have the honor to address?
You may address me as Count von Krab.
How do you do, sir?
You must excuse this mask I wear, as the august person who employs me wishes his agent to be unknown to you. And I may confess at once that the title by which I have called myself is not exactly my own.
I was well aware of that fact, sir.
As you see, Mr. Holmes, the matter I am about to discuss implicates the great house of Ormstein, hereditary kings of Bohemia.
That had not escaped me either, sir. In fact, if you will state your case, I shall be better able to advise you. Your Majesty. Up and hit! Up and bloody hit!
Oh dear man! Well, it can't just lie there in the street. Bring him into my sitting room. Yes, this right. Here, oh, gently now. Set him down on the sofa. Yes. Oh, are you all right, Vicar?
Oh, you are too kind. Oh, my head. Perhaps some fresh air will clear it.
Well, of course. I will open a window.
Thank you, kind lady.
Can I get you a glass of water or a cup of tea?
Fire! A fire! Fire!
Somebody pull the fire again. Oh, there's fire. Into the cab, Watson! Driver, to the Langham Hotel. Oh, you did splendidly, Doctor.
You have the photograph.
Safely tucked away in my pocket for presentation to the king.
You were in the house so short a time. However did you find it?
She showed me as I told you she would.
I'm still in the dark.
When a woman fears her house is afire, she will rush to protect the thing she values most. A mother grabs her baby, a young woman her jewel case, and our adventuress, Irene Norton, rushes to retrieve...
The photograph?
Exactly. And in the midst of the smoke and shouting, I watched her closely. Her eyes darted to the bell pull at the fireplace mantel. Just as she was moving towards it, her maid ushered her out of the house. I then had my chance. Behind the bell pull, I found a loose seam in the wallpaper, and there, tucked behind the paper, I found the photograph. I barely had time to hide it in my pocket when the maid came back for me. But I just rushed past her and out the door.
Well done, Holmes. The king will be pleased.
Yes, he will. Our work is nearly complete. Just a moment. Remarkable. Truly remarkable. Here, Watson. Read it.
My dear Mr. Sherlock Holmes,
Allow me to commend your performance. Until the alarm of fire, I was taken in completely. You had done so well that I admit I did nearly betray myself. But at the last moment, I managed to restrain my impulses. Remember, I too am an actress. And after I noted your keen observation of my actions, I engaged in a little play acting myself. Well, just as you had done, to divert your attention to where I wanted it. Then, as I stood outside my house, I wondered if I had successfully misled you, when the poor, injured vicar came racing out the door and up the lane. A most miraculous healing, I must say. And as you have by now viewed the photograph that you took from my sitting room, you realize I was quite prepared to deceive anyone who sought to relieve me of that other item against my will. My ruse successful. I was prepared to let it go at that, but then I was seized by the sudden realization that the vicar in my sitting room was one and the same stableman who had stood beside me in witness of my wedding. How could this be? It was most stimulating, I assure you. But I couldn't resist. I simply had to know the true identity of such a formidable antagonist. I quickly summoned my carriage and followed you. And as our two carriages crossed town, I thought intently on what had transpired this day, and concluded that if a certain German gentleman were to employ an agent to seek a certain item in my possession, and this agent, twice in disguise, could fool me, why then, it could only be the celebrated Sherlock Holmes.
My God, but I do not understand.
She had us both, Your Majesty, and has shown mercy. She outthought and outwitted us both, and yet, even with the upper hand, she has capitulated.
I must trust her word. What a woman! Would she have not made an admirable queen? Pity she is not of my level.
Yes, it appears she is on a very different level from Your Majesty.
I am indebted to you.
Your Majesty does have something which I value very highly.
Name it.
That other photograph, the one with only Miss Adela's visage.
Irene's photograph? Certainly.
Is the photograph retrieved from the house of Irene Adela?
But there's no man in the photograph, only her.
What?
By Jove!
Explain yourself.
Oh, what is it? Message for Mr. Sherlock Holmes, sir.
For me? Watson, open the door.
Here it is, sir, and excuse me, but I was told to say that the writer of this, Miss Adler, as left England for the continent with a new husband.
She has left England?
Yes, sir.
Get out.
Blooming message. The photograph, all is lost.
Holmes, the note, what does it say?
I demand an explanation.
Just a moment. Ha! Remarkable. Truly remarkable. Here, Watson, read it.
My dear Mr. Sherlock Holmes, allow me to
commend your performance. Until the alarm of fire, I was taken in completely. You had done so well that I admit I did nearly betray myself. But at the last moment, I managed to restrain my impulses. Remember, I too am an actress. And after I noted your keen observation of my actions, I engaged in a little play acting myself, just as you had done, to divert your attention to where I wanted it. Then, as I stood outside my house, I wondered if I had successfully misled you, when the poor, injured vicar came racing out the door and up the lane. The most miraculous healing, I must
If you wish it, here, it is yours.
I thank you, Your Majesty. And as there is no more to be done on the matter, I wish you auf Wiedersehen.
What a stirring tale, Dr. Watson.